Music City Horror.
Welcome to Music City Horror. We have a mini episode for you today. We recently interviewed Anne Heit, who is one of the stars of an independent horror movie called Anykah, which is currently on Amazon Prime. The interview didn't take up enough time to fill up a whole episode, so we're just releasing it as kind of a bonus episode. So the interview will be coming up next, right after the break. All right, so tonight we have a special guest with us tonight doing an interview. She's most recently been in the horror, I don't know if you'd call it a short or it's a little bit longer than a short, but a horror film. It's called Anykah. I just saw it on Amazon Prime, and she reached out to us and asked if we could do an interview, talk about the show or talk about the movie, and we'll talk about some other stuff concerning her career. So we would like to welcome to the show Miss Anne Heit.
Well, thank you so much for welcoming me. I'm excited to be here.
No problem. Thanks for doing the our time zones are weird because a lot of the people in the business are on the West Coast and we're in the Central Time, so it throws people off. So appreciate you being flexible with us. So first question we usually do, just kind of a softball question. How did you get your start in the business? Have you been doing it a long time, recently? Like, what's some of your background with that?
Well, it started off when I was a child. I used to play. I used to pretend I was producing TV shows and commercials in addition to playing with my dolls. But what actually happened in terms of acting is last year I went to a friend's birthday party, of all things, and she has her own TV talk show. She says, "Oh, I'd love to have you as a guest on my show." Same party, this guy approaches and said, "Oh, I think you'd be perfect for this movie I'm working on, this independent film." I'm like, "Sure, just give me the information about the movie." Great. All of a sudden, from 2017 on, I've been offered several different film roles. They're not all horror films. Some of them are, some of them aren't. And they're all very interesting. And I've been a guest on TV show and on radio, also internet radio. And so the most recent film I'm in, I'm also co-producing as well.
Wow.
Oh, that's so exciting.
I'm very excited.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, this ties in because February was Women in Horror Month, and we missed getting you on in February. But, I mean, that's pretty awesome. And you're acting, producing, TV shows. I mean, that's pretty good.
Well, and coincidentally, February is my birthday month too.
Nice, very nice.
Thank you. 20th, in case you're asking.
I was thinking 21 just because I figured you could drink, but 20 is good too.
Okay.
Well, Anne, are you? Would you call yourself a horror fan?
I do like some horror movies. I don't watch them extensively.
What are some of your favorite ones?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I think
do you have any favorites that come to mind?
Well, we did kind of like a remake of The Exorcist, but it was a different twist to it.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. And let's see, Amityville Horror is another good one. There are a couple that come to mind, actually.
Yeah, we always like that question because you'd be surprised how many people, they're not a huge horror fan, and for some people it's just a paycheck, and so it's always interesting to kind of hear what people, if they've been lifelong fans or if it's just they're casual fans or whatever.
I've always liked independent films, though. Yeah. And it's really exciting to have these opportunities working in that area.
Yeah, I think with indie films, I think you see more of the operation, like some of the big studio stuff, you just kind of show up and leave. And with the indie stuff, there's so many people wearing so many hats. Because I think the lead from Anykah was also the director. Was that correct?
Yes. So a woman, her name is Rachel Hadassah, and she was a director and also the writer of the film.
Oh, so she's
a producer.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And
wow.
I saw like some of the, one of the other co-directors was also, he did some of the camera work, and
Right.
you don't really see that on the big stuff. You have everyone is dedicated to their own thing, so it's pretty cool. I was involved in a independent film about 2 or 3 years ago, and it's finally going to get released this year. But
how exciting!
It was just fun to see how many hats people were wearing in the smaller movies and stuff like that. So.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Lena asked that one, so I think we'll go to Kayla. Let you ask the next one.
Well, I know you mentioned this a little bit at the beginning, but how did you get involved with this movie? Was it one of the people that you met at the party that you went to?
Yeah, actually, Rachel was at the party, and she's the casting director of a show that I was on. And she wanted me to be in this movie, and I play the role of Auntie Davina, her aunt who's a psychologist.
How long did it? Well, did you meet her last year? You said.
Yeah.
Nice. And so everything was shot and filmed and released within a year?
Mm-hmm.
Man,
and it went directly to Amazon Prime.
That's really fast for an indie film. That's really impressive.
Yeah, I think so too.
To see all the work that you did kind of turn around really quickly. I'm sure that must be satisfying.
Yes. I mean, it's great because I'm a very creative person, and I also work in technology. So this is my creative outlet. I've always seen myself as an artist. It's
nice when you can have an outlet, and you might have a quote unquote day job, but then going to do something that's like this podcast. We're not retiring, in Maui from this podcast, but we love the genre, and we love obviously talking to people that are involved in it. So it's always nice to have an outlet like that.
Yes, totally.
So for the movie we've been talking about, how would you describe it to someone that's, say they're flipping through this show, and we mentioned the name, and if you had a 30-second description or a 30-second plug, like how would you describe the film?
Well, I would say it was based on the Exorcist film, but it's an independent version of it. Mm-hmm. That has a completely different storyline. I know they have a description on Amazon Prime of the movie, which you can see, but it's like a modern-day exorcism. And so it's actually in California. It was filmed on location in San Jose and San Francisco, California.
Yeah, I was curious about some of the locations. Like at the very beginning when she comes up and sees you and the boyfriend and stuff like that. I was wondering where that was. And so it looked like the locales were, I could tell California, but I couldn't, pinpoint the cities, of course.
Yeah, that was a park in San Francisco, a little neighborhood park of all places, not anything famous. It wasn't Golden Gate Park or anything like that.
Nice. That's awesome.
And then we found some really interesting backdrops and scenes in friends' houses.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's really fun. That's really cool because everyone kind of gets to be a part of the movie, even if it's just a chair or something like that. It's everyone gets a part of it. That's really neat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would, I don't know about y'all, but exorcism movies scare me the worst. I think that was, I don't know.
If you look at me in that movie, I was genuinely freaked out. I mean, my heart was in my mouth, and I actually ran outside the room.
Wow. Oh my gosh. I would do the same thing. That's so funny.
I had chills down my spine when all of a sudden the satanic voice came out of Rachel's mouth when she played for Anykah. So completely freaked me out.
The sound on the film was really good, like the background music and her, if you want to call it demon voice or whatever. I thought all that was really good. The background.
She plays scary very well.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was interesting that it was kind of a, like you were saying, it's kind of loosely based on The Exorcist or reimagined, whatever. It's kind of it started out with she's talking to her shrink, and they have that whole, she thinks that she's in love with him, and he's like, no, I just, you're a patient, all this kind of stuff. And so it almost kind of, you're going into it, and it's almost like she's just crazy, and she does the whole crazy laugh and all that kind of stuff. And then, they meet the medium, and then it starts going into like, oh, well, no, there's actually a possession going on here. So I thought it was kind of cool how it, not really flipped it or anything, but it was just kind of going into it. You just kind of thought it was, a girl with problems and all that. And then, lo and behold, she's got some real problems. So I thought it was an interesting take on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting creative license to use on the film. I thought it was very, very well written, and we've gotten a lot of positive reviews about it. Yeah,
I thought it was a really good story.
Someone wants me to do an anti-Davina fan page. I'm like, how am I going to do that? There's not a whole lot of stuff there. There's some stills,
That'd be fun to put together.
Were there any challenges while y'all were shooting this, or was it pretty easy, like, to get all the scenes?
There were some challenges in terms of availability and just coordinating, getting everyone together and figuring out, okay, we have X amount of time to do this. How are we going to do it? And, it worked out in the long run. There are things that were cut out and edited out of the film as well. But I think it went pretty much like the way she wanted it to be.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't usually happen. I mean, it probably happens more on the indie stuff, but, you always hear stories about, especially like the bigger movies, about, studio involvement and cuts and edits and all that kind of stuff. So, if it was pretty much her vision, that's pretty good.
I mean, there's a scene I had with my boyfriend in front of the priest where I made some comment. I was kind of surprised that was cut out. But I thought it would be interesting what I had to say, but that's okay.
Do you have a favorite scene that you're in from the movie, or a fun scene that you enjoyed shooting?
It was interesting being in the house. There's one of the houses in there. You'll see there's a woman who's completely freaked out about her. And she says, you just don't seem to go away. And that was just fascinating, the way it was shot, not just down the hallway, but through the very depths inside the house. And it was so eerie. I mean, the hairs were standing up on my back. I felt cold. I was freaking out just seeing that before you even see a person, just the anticipation of fear of what's going to happen next in that particular location in San Francisco in someone's house.
That's wild. Was that like the main house, like the house, like where the ending took place and everything? Was that like a crew member's house, or did y'all get that from a listing?
Actually, there were two different homes. The main home it was filmed in was in San Jose.
Mm-hmm.
So there were only maybe one or two scenes that were shot in the home in San Francisco, and that only had to do with availability of the owner.
Yeah, gotcha. So how long was the actual shoot? Like, how long did it take you to finish the movie?
It took us a couple different get-togethers. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. It took several weeks to do. Just when I thought we were done, we needed to do like another scene over, or have to dub the voice of someone, or do something a little different. I would guess it took about 3 or 4 times to shoot it.
Oh, that's really interesting. That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, we're dealing with all of us are really creative
people. You guys celebrate?
And you notice that the tarot card reader is actually a man dressed as a woman.
Yeah, it took me a second to pick up on that.
I love that.
Really, I love that.
Olga is amazing. That's his screen name.
That's amazing.
Well, did the cast and crew get to celebrate when the movie was finished or when it came up on Amazon Prime? Did you guys get a chance to get all together again?
Not all of us got together because of schedule conflicts, but 3 or 4 of us did.
Nice.
We went out for drinks and dancing and had a great time.
Oh, that's so fun. I love that.
Yeah. So for everyone listening, we can tell them to watch on Amazon Prime now.
That movie just grows on you the more you watch it. It's been a lot of downloads so far, and we'd love to have more.
Yeah.
So overall, I mean, what was the experience like? Just, I guess going from meeting someone at a party to, now you're talking about it on a podcast. I mean, like, what's the experience been being involved with this project?
Well, I've had to be very patient because it didn't just happen overnight. It took over, the entire year. Just periodically I would get a call or message saying, hey, we'd love to cast you in this film. I'm like, sure, what do you want me to do? I'll be there.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super exciting.
I mean, there's one, to give you an idea, there's a new one we're working on called Me and You Against the World, and some of it was shot in my house.
Whoa, that's cool.
What was that like?
That was really interesting. I was just hoping the neighbors wouldn't call the cops or something when someone started screaming.
That sounds like it'd be a great movie in itself.
It's a completely different genre, and I actually play the part of an evil, villainous matriarch. And I'm really a nice person, so it was really hard for me to be that mean.
That's awesome, though. I bet that's really
fun. Yeah. That's excellent. Are there any other projects you want to tell us about coming up like that? And I do want to hear more about your producing project.
That's a producing project, Me and You Against the World. So I'm co-producing it. There's a couple other ones that are in the works. There's a movie that my friend who's a writer and filmmaker, William Cardoza, is working on called Ice Cream Sunday. And that's like a science fiction, erotic horror film. It's a combination of different things. And I actually play the role of of all things, a French art collector and art dealer. And I do a lot of these high society parties. And I've done a little bit of filming for that already. I've done some pre-production photo shoots for it. We've done some location hunting in California as well. And I think that's going to be a really good film as well. But it's a little slow, much slower in producing it than the other films are. I mentioned the one that I'm co-producing is called Me and You Against the World. There's a couple other films that we worked on together. So I've had quite a few this year.
Nice.
Yeah, that's great. The year's off to a good start.
I really think so. I mean, this year alone, 2 of the films got automatically released onto Amazon Prime. In addition to that, I was going to mention about Rachel Hadassah is that she's a very talented singer and musician, and in one of the films, she actually did her own rap music.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Nice. That's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Well, mentioning Rachel, since she was the director and everything, obviously she's going to be a lot more critical of it because she was directing it and writing it and starring in it. What is your, how do you feel about the final product? Do you wish there had been more scenes? Like you were talking about, you said something in one of the scenes and it was cut. I mean, do you wish more stuff was put in it? Do you like it the way it is? Like, what's your overall take with the final product?
I mean, I love the final product. It actually was surprising because, as you understand, when you film things, they're done in different segments and they're not necessarily done in chronological order.
Mm-hmm.
And so someone else, did all the editing, the finished product. I'm like, oh my goodness, I had no idea it would turn out like that. And I thought I was in a supporting role. I had no idea I had a starring role in the movie. So that was a surprise to me.
That's a good surprise.
I'm like,
That's
I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it's really nice to have a surprise like that. So
yeah. Whenever you saw the final product, like, how did y'all watch it on a big screen, or how did y'all watch the final project?
I think we just logged on to our Amazon Prime accounts and watched it on a laptop, or watch it, in my case, on my iPhone. Yeah. I have an Amazon Prime app
That's what I
on
would
my
do.
phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I did.
That's fun. Yeah, that's excellent.
It turned out great.
Yeah,
I mean, the sound, the color, everything, the dramatic effect.
That's awesome.
That kind of reminded me of something. Did you guys have like an actual premiere, or was it always intended to be a VOD kind of deal?
It was a VOD kind of deal, but we didn't expect that one to be selected or to have it happen right away.
Gotcha.
Generally, it takes a little bit more time than that.
Yeah, I've heard that Amazon kind of goes through a process, so that's pretty exciting.
We're all excited about it, and everyone did such a great job.
Yes. Well, let's see. We talked about your future and current stuff. I meant to ask, is that showing anywhere else besides Amazon Prime?
No, not at the moment.
Okay, gotcha. I know there's some people that don't have Prime just because of the upfront cost. So,
well, I know that on YouTube, I think there's a movie trailer. And before that was created, I actually created my own movie trailer in iMovie for it.
Oh, cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think we're to the point. Where can our listeners find you on social media? Do you have all the social media sites, or?
Yeah, I'm all over the map. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, and I also, in addition to being on Facebook, my personal page on Facebook, I have a public page which is called Emerging Artists and Trends.
Oh, cool.
And that is my entertainment blog. It's like a personal blog I created a number of years ago, and I create my own video, and I've interviewed people. I post things about different things I'm working on. It's Emerging Artists, and then an ampersand sign, Trends.
Oh, that's perfect. Emerging. Sure.
Excellent.
You're welcome.
And it on the other sites, is it just your name, or do you have a certain handle like Emerging Artists and Trends?
Well, Emerging Artists and Trends is for that Facebook page. Mm-hmm. But on Twitter, it's Anne Heit, and same thing on Instagram.
Okay, cool. I might have just...
And I also created a separate page for Anykah the movie.
I was just about to ask about the movie page. Okay, good to know.
And I created a hashtag for Anykah the movie. So whenever I write something about it or post a picture, I add the hashtag so people can find that.
Nice. And that's just for people that don't know, that's Anykah. I had an issue with that, finding it on Amazon. I misspelled it.
Oh, sorry about that.
So I was going, I don't know what I spelled, but I couldn't find it. And then I went back to your email, like, oh, she did put it in there. I guess I could have just read the email. So.
You're so silly.
Typical man, I guess. Well, cool. Well, I think that's all the questions we had. I don't know if we did 10 or over that. We kind of piggybacked off some of them, so I think we might have ended up with like 12 questions. So,
hey, I feel honored.
Yeah, it's awesome. Well, we appreciate you reaching out to us.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
We love talking with people from the big leagues all the way to the people doing it themselves, and like you guys were wearing all the different hats and just hustling and making it work, and it's obviously paid off that you got it approved on Amazon almost instantly, or Amazon Instant. Is that what it's called? Whatever. Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's awesome. Yeah. And then maybe we can touch back, down the road when you have some more projects out or more news to share with us, and we'll plug that as well.
Yes.
I'd love to.
Well, congratulations, and we can't wait to see what you do next. You just sound so brilliant and excited, and I know we're looking forward to seeing what you come up with down the pipeline. So let us know for sure.
I definitely will. I want to keep in touch with you guys.
Awesome. Well, Anne, we appreciate your time.
Thank you, Anne.
And
thank you so much.
We'll be chatting with you soon.
I look forward to that.
Thanks.
You have a good evening.
You too.
You too.
Thank you.
Thanks, Anne.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
The podcast you just heard was recorded with Anchor. If you want to make your own, download the Android or iOS app completely free from anchor.fm/podcast. That's anchor.fm/podcast.